This AEW star has shared his thoughts on the new MJF, but first, WWE are continuing to tease the return of CM Punk. The contract termination of CM Punk from All Elite Wrestling sparked instant talk of his potential return to WWE, with his last action in the company on screen even being an apparent nod to the bloodline, and the first hint that he has intentions of heading back to his former employer. With his hometown of Chicago set to host the Survivor Series next month, there's been a ton of expectation regarding a CM Punk return at this event, with WWE seemingly teasing this themselves over recent weeks, although a WWE higher-up reached out to Fightful Select to squash expectations in a recent report. With that said, both CM Punk and WWE have added more fuel to the fire, although there still remains some doubt as to if this will actually lead to anything. Firstly, this past Saturday night, the Second City Saint would once again take on the role of commentator for the CFFC MMA promotion, where he and his co-workers joked about his current situation and potential future. Firstly, co-commentator John Morgan would set up his colleague by stating that Punk may be going to another promotion, before Punk avoided the obvious reference to his wrestling career before name-dropping another MMA event that's going down in November. However, the most blatant tease happened on the official Instagram account for WWE, where they would post specifically the clip of Shinsuke Nakamura hitting Ricochet with a GTS, with the USA Network's account replying with the comment "best in the world," a clear reference to Punk. It could once again be a case of trolling from the network as to direct attention to Monday Night Raw tonight, which is likely the case if reports are to be believed. With that said, USA Network appear to be doing nothing to calm the ongoing speculation. Next up, this top AEW star likely won't be 100% ever again. Bryan Danielson would sustain an arm injury at the AEW NJPW Forbidden Door event in the main event match with Kazuchika Okada, and despite suffering a broken arm, would work through the pain and finish the bout. Since then, the American Dragon made a remarkable return to the ring at AEW All Out just over 2 months later, defeating Ricky Starks in a strap match. Speaking with Sports Nightly this week, Danielson would elaborate on the current state of his injury, revealing that a metal rod has been inserted into his arm to aid the healing process. However, he would reveal that there's a danger of a re-break and said, "It's doing okay. I think by continually wrestling on it, I'm slowing it down from healing 100%. As older wrestlers like to say, we never anticipated being 100% ever again. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. It's fully functional. I can do pull-ups, I can do all these different sorts of things. There's nothing that's going to happen to the bone because they put a rod in it with 9 screws. The dangerous part," the doctor said, "is actually where if it were to break again, it's easier to break where the rod ends because the rod itself acts as a fulcrum that it could bend against. But then really, it's like the nerve and muscle damage. Part of that is because I wrestled for 10 minutes with a broken arm, and then part of it is just the work that we do." Since his return, Danielson has worked 8 matches over the course of the past 6 weeks, with him most recently falling short in his match against Christian Cage for the AEW TNT Championship this past Saturday night on Collision. And speaking of injuries, we have the latest on the potential return of a former WWE champion. Big E's wrestling career would be left in doubt in March 2022, this when he fractured both his C1 and C6 vertebrae on an episode of SmackDown, with there being fears that his days in the ring could be coming to an end. With that said, doctors have told the New Day member that he's expected to make a complete recovery, allowing him to live a normal life outside of the ropes. This week, Big E's New Day stablemate Kofi Kingston would speak with the Toronto Sun, where he provided an update on the status of his friend and tag team partner, with him revealing that Iggy is happy both physically and mentally, before adding that it's just a matter of waiting to see if he can wrestle again, and Kingston would note, "As far as his injury is concerned, my main thing is that he has his health, and I'm so happy he's doing so well, physically and mentally, because I can only imagine what an injury like that, as severe as the one that he suffered to his neck. He fractured his C1 and his C6 in a couple of places, and to not have surgery, there was no misalignment. He really is almost back to 100% feeling-wise. He's able to live everyday life, and he's able to lift weights, which is a big part of his life too. It could have been a lot worse. I'm just so happy that he's able able to live his life with a level of happiness and health. Whether he comes back, I think we all have to just kind of wait and see what happens, and I think a lot of people would be really stoked to see him out there again, but if not, then that's okay too. We'll all kind of find out together what the situation is, but again, my main concern is that he has his health, and I'm just happy that he never needed any kind of surgery or anything like that to live a healthy life. It was recently revealed that Big E has been considered for a new on-screen role with WWE, this when he stated that talks have taken place over him becoming a colour commentator. With that said, there's been no update on this since, although he has been helping out at various tryout events over the past few months. And next, this top champion is ready for WWE's newest signing. Former AEW TBS champion Jade Cargill would recently make the jump to WWE, with her being presented as a big deal by the promotion ever since. WWE have given the perception of Jade being the most sought-after free agent that has yet to be assigned a brand, with her being seen on all 3 television shows in backstage segments in order to weigh up her options between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. This week, current WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley would take part in an interview with Sporting News Australia ahead of the company's trip down under in February for the Elimination Chamber event. She would be asked about a possible match with WWE's top free agent and would respond, "I'm very excited to see what she brings to WWE, I really am. She's a big name and a lot of people are watching and waiting for her debut. We don't know which brand she's going to be on yet. It could be Raw, it could be SmackDown, it could be NXT. No one really knows exactly what's going on. If it is Raw, that's my show. Mammy runs Raw. The Judgment Day, we run Raw. So if Jade wants to come to my brand, then I would love to step in the ring with her and show her exactly why Mammy's always on top. I have watched bits and pieces of her from her time in the other brand, in the other company, and she is fantastic. She believes in herself and she is a star. She believes she's a star, which is always the most dangerous thing. When someone believes in themselves, they are very hard to stop, but I'm also a Mammy, so I'm waiting for that day that I do get to step in the ring with her. I think it's going to be a very exciting match, and just to have someone that's so physically impressive across the ring from me, it excites me. I love a good challenge, and I'm waiting for that day." Whilst WWE have yet to make a public announcement regarding which brand Jade Cargill will land on in the coming weeks, it's been reported by Mike Johnson of PW Insider that plans are in place for her to debut on Raw, which of course would see her on the same roster as Rhea Ripley, setting up the possibility for a potential clash of titans somewhere down the line. And next, a recent AEW signing has been planned for 2 years. At AEW All Out 2023, CJ Perry, the wife of former AEW TNT champion Miro, would make her All Elite Wrestling debut, with the real-life couple since being at odds on screen, with the Bulgarian Brute doing all he can to stop Perry from hiring a new managerial client. Rumours of Perry's AEW arrival go as far back as the former Lana's WWE release in June 2021, although it would take 2 years for it to finally happen. With that said, CJ would speak with Fightful this week to confirm that on-screen teasers of her impending debut over the past couple of years have been intentional, although it came down to a matter of timing, and she would reveal, "Miro's been plotting this out for a really long time, talking about his hot and flexible wife for probably 2 years now and wanting to bring me in. It was just a timing thing. I had a lot of other things going on, a couple of different projects. It was just figuring out the timing, and the timing was right. All of it was his idea, to be honest. All of it was his idea. I'm just hired talent right now." Next up, this AEW star has shared his thoughts on the new MJF. Former AEW TNT champion Wardlow made a name for himself as the bodyguard and the right-hand man of current AEW World Champion MJF, a relationship that ended on less than favourable terms. Having been away from AEW for nearly 4 months, Wardlow made a comeback on AEW television on October 4, securing rapid and decisive victories in 2 successive weeks on AEW Dynamite. During his hiatus, Wardlow's former boss has ascended to greater popularity among the AEW fanbase, particularly through his Better Than You Bay alliance with Adam Cole, which has seen the former heel become a lovable good guy in the process. In an interview with Jeff Adams of Sports Nightly this week, Wardlow would give his thoughts on the new side of MJF, with him still having little trust for the man that claims to be better than you, and he would say, 10 powerbombs wasn't enough. I don't know if there's a number that exists that will satisfy me for the amount of powerbombs MJF is due and deserves. I understand in the past 4 months he has somehow convinced everybody in the world to cheer for him and feel sad for him and sorry for him. It just amazes me how somebody can do horrible, evil things for years and then they come out and say sorry and spew out some fake tears. Now all of a sudden everybody forgets all the bad they have ever done and they want to embrace him. Well, I'm a little more intelligent. I see right through his BS, and I'm not one of the people that have sat at home cheering on MJF for the past 4 months. It's currently unknown what Wardlow's goals are going forward, or if he plans on targeting MJF for the AEW World Championship in the near future. However, he's doing a good job of maintaining the perception of heat between the two men in a kayfabe sense. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 facts that MJF doesn't want you to know.